my life is so busy, I didn't have time to even think about what we were doing. And we were in the car and, you know, people started asking me about stuff.
It all begins in the glen of stress. Happy days.
Yeah, this is good. I'm not thinking too much because I'll get too excited.
And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to ride all the 7Stanes and ride all the road in between, non-stop. I'm going to start today and finish sometime tomorrow, hopefully within 24 hours. And I'm not nervous, I'm like really excited.
Somewhere between 500 and 750 calories.
You know, I've done all sorts, I've done road racing, time trials, duathlon, all sorts. But the things that I've done for the longest are the things that have been hardest to sort of get any good at. So mountain bike cross country, raced seriously for at least 11 years, something like that, before the longer races started to come along, and found that I was actually a lot better at those. And I started that first bit, Glen Trails, I set off, and I was just like, I wanted to rip up those trails. I was just thinking, oh, you got to hold back, you got to hold back. You can be like a very, very fast cross-country racer, but to convert that to like endurance off-road, yeah, that's where the trick is. It's trying to ride. You have to ride a lot slower than you think on a lot of things, and you become best friends with the granny ring. This is just the best thing ever. I'm riding my bike all day. We're all tied up in all this other stuff that's supposed to be our lives, and yet, like, I just felt so alive, you know? The 12-hour race, the best man wins, the fastest guy wins. You go 24-hour races, you get the form book thrown out the window. You can almost flip it on its head. It can be, you have the guy who gets lapped in a 6-hour race, laps the guy who lapped him in a 6-hour race in a 24, because it's all upstairs, it's all in your head. Strongest willed, the guy prepared to go the furthest, to hurt himself the most. I'd never been to the top of Innerleithen, and so I got up there and I was just like, you know, really the clock's ticking against you the whole time, but it's so early on then, it was like 2.5, 3 hours in. And I stopped at the top and I was just like, look at the view, my God. It's just like that, you know, coming off of there, and I was just like, this is it. You're like, you know, all these views and trails and bikes, and that's what I'm about. I did my first 24-hour and it broke me. And I was just like, looked back on it and thought, you know, actually, that didn't break you, you threw in the towel. You cracked mentally. And then the next one, I was a bit better. And you're like, the next one, I really watched what everybody else was doing and what we had to do. And the third one I did was the World Championships. I'd only done 2 24s, but by then my mind was on it. I was just like, all I have to overcome is me, actually, to do this.
Find out now whether I've been feeding properly or not. Seems to be all right. Yeah, everything kind of starts to loosen up now. So you should get to about 5 or 6 hours and everything slows down a bit.
When you do something that's a bit different, I think it's, you know, people kind of understand that everybody's got like a different path, and so yeah, the response has been really good. It doesn't matter if you ride a bike for 24 or 1 hour, if it suits you and it gives you the buzz for the sport, then you know that's the way, innit?
The schedule's meant we've knocked an hour off of his estimated time, so and we've probably just knocked about another 40 minutes off, 30 minutes off, so we're like an hour and a half up at least. But we've got the real tough bit to go now. There's loads of rollers, loads of big hills come in, and this horrible wind, so this will be the bit where we could quite easily lose that advantage.
I knew once I got past A, I had 2/3 of the road done and half the trail sentence done.
I've got one taped on already.
Yeah, I think there's like quite a lot of trauma involved in what I do. It's not like the trauma like if you race downhill or something, 1 minute you're up, next minute bang, you're down and things are broken. It's not like that, but I think it's like you do really take your body too far, and it's kind of, yeah, it's kind of a bit weird really. So yeah, it's strange. Like Clive says I've got issues, so it's probably not far off.
Yeah, you always have 1 or 2 moments in a 24 when you're expecting to see somebody at a certain time or place, and if they don't appear, it kind of makes the art go a bit. We got a bit ahead of ourselves and thought we were going to catch him up and didn't, so a little lap on the block and that was all right. We found him again, happy days. But he's all good, he's riding well, he's got the skills to pay the bills, so everything's cool.
So what's he doing now, Clive?
I bet he's asking himself exactly that. He's now partway round A Forest. He's probably a good third of his way into it, descending on Granny Greenlove at the minute. This is the face on the other side, up in the tree line there. That's going to be a grind. That's a grind on a good lap, let alone when you've ridden this far. So I think he'll be saving some calories and walking the steeper bits and just eating some gels again and recovering a bit more. But happy days to him. It won't be far, and he'll be back round, another stain ticked off the list, and we can make our way down to Maybe Forest then.
I'm off anyway.
Are you alright warmth-wise? Do you want any more layers, or?
Oh yeah.
What do you want?
And I have there's one of these gilos that's thick.
We went through Dumfries and I was just like, oh, I'm going to Maybe now, sweet. And I've broken the back of it. I did Maybe and just flew around Maybe. I didn't eat anything. You know, I just like all that careful eating strategy and everything. I rode for an hour and a half, didn't eat anything at all. Didn't drink anything at all. Got on the road bike to go to the beating. Was just like, that was just like the dumbest thing you could have ever done.
Left at the Maybe Farm Junction and along the bottom country lane, eh?
Right.
No, left.
Okay.
I want to right.
I know I'm going right out of here.
No, you're not, you're going left. You're going to the beat, dude.
Like, because I was almost too focused on how great it was and how much I was enjoying myself.
Maybe Farm, brown signs. And you'll be on a nice, smooth, single track road all the way.
Left from first left.
Yeah.
What's it say? Maybe Farm Park.
Brown sign, Maybe Farm Park.
Right.
And then when you get out the end of that road, you're on the main road, left sideways.
And I tried to eat on the way and the temperature dropped. And I got to Dalby and it was just like the worst place you've ever been in your life.
Are you drinking water very often from your camelback?
No, I'm not doing well, it's
Because I've noticed that we haven't had to refill them a lot.
It's death march time.
Good job, bro. And nights.
This is going to be so difficult. And already you're just like negative and focus on the negative, focus on the negative. And sometimes you just you know you're doing it, but you just keep doing it. I was just, I couldn't, my brain was so deficient of fuel that I couldn't coordinate or anything. And I was just like, I could see stuff and I know I could ride it. And I would just bash into it and fall off the trail.
Go for it, man.
Yeah, Rob.
Fucking amazing.
We're nearly there, man. We're nearly there.
We're going to Kill Bill, dude. He'll go through a lull patch now where he has to have the odd dad chat or two. Sometimes they're a bit firm, sometimes they're fair. So it's the dark hours, this time of the morning. Even if you're starting at 12 o'clock lunchtime, it's really, really hard graft. Yeah, I mean, he's rinsed, his orientation's going to be absolutely all over the place. Yeah, it's just going to be the weirdest things going through his head.
I was going round to Beatty and I was just like, oh, this is the second ride in the series of 7. How have I set myself up for this nightmare? And I was just going round to Beatty getting this. What, how, you know, oh my God, we're like, this is, I don't want to ever do this again.
They're coming up to 17 and a half hours, we might as well say.
And what's he achieved in that time?
Probably some sore knees, a sore butt, and a few other ailments. He's achieved, right, on the clock at the minute, I'm looking, we didn't set our clock bang on at the beginning, so we need to put a +10 on there. We've got 164, so we've done 174 miles of road riding, minus a bit because we've been in the forest a little bit in that time. Alright, for argument's sake, let's say 150. What's give or take 20 when you've been riding for 17 hours? Because in amongst that, he's decided to stop en route and take a little jolly around every red route that he can find, just to really gnarl himself out. So if you consider the energy expulsion of whacking out a good 60 mile off road, you might as well say you could easily double that 120 of on road. We're looking at 300, 400 mile of calorie burning nonsense.
All my memories of it are kind of like blurred, like, you know, when if you have too much to drink, you go out on the town and you come back and you're like, you can remember getting home, but there's big chunks missing, and that's what the beat was like. I was just rattling around in the dark, walking along, everything hurts. I'm supposed to be eating, my stomach's telling me not to, like, just, oh. And just like, it was so good to get to the car park at the beat. So, and that's why I got changed after the beat, because I was just like, sometimes you just need something to snap your mind back out of that lull. Because I was just like, now I know I can make it. Like, there's only the last trail left, and you know, Raiders Road is a bit longer than I remember it in the car. So it was a bit of a surprise, but I knew I could do it when I got to there, and I started thinking about it backwards in my head, and I was like, that's actually a long way still, you know, that's a good day's riding, like that road ride, and then the Raiders Road, and then the last road ride, and then the trail centre.
Go for it, Mark.
And I was working it out, and I'm working it backwards in my mind and thinking, oh no, that's still tight, especially if I get to the last trail and I'm like this.
Good job, dude. Yeah, man. Sick.
I was really hoping that I was going to list the last trail as one of my highs because it's my favourite trail, but I can't because it was just relief to finish. You see the state of me. I'm actually as far from what you could describe as alive. Really, you know. It can be done. I don't know if you've got everything out, but there's not much left, you know. You pretty much, you do fall asleep not long afterwards, and everything hurts, and there's no energy. But for some reason you feel so alive, like mentally, just like you've really done something.